Sup guys, Casey of Final Turn AL4 here again with you with a Shadow Paladin deck list this time. I really wasn't going to do anything about Shadow Paladins for a while, just because all their stuff's out, people know most of the builds. But I was talking with Sam of the Next Level Games one time at a stand-up cup, and after discussing a few things, made me really want to do a deck profile over the current build I'm using and why. Don't give me that running my mouth thing. I'm discussing the deck. Alright.
Picking on you.
Yeah, pick on me on that. Anyway. So this is mostly a budget build. If you don't want to run Phantom Blaster Dragon or Overlord, I would recommend this build, and I'll mention a few changes when you do have the budget to it, and a few other little tweaks and stuff you'll be doing with it later on. Alright, starting out, here's your starter, Full Ball. I think that's a stupid name. I never read it. His effect is when you ride Javelin on him, you search your deck for a Blaster-Dark and add it to hand. A good +1 right off the bat to break even. Our grade 3 lineup, this is going to be a Dictator build. The Dark Dictator gains +2,000 for every other rear guard on the field. So since he can only get up to 20,000 with a full field, he can't be boosted. You don't ever, in this current format, do not have to put a booster behind him unless you're fighting a 10k. But if you have a field of 4, he's 18,000, which is what you need to hit current cross rides and MLB, along with 11ks. If you do fight 10ks, then just slap an extra booster behind him, and he'll be swinging 20 for what you need to. His other effect is when you ride him, you Soul Blast 3 and give your front 2 units plus 5,000. It's a good late game or early game push if you have the field for it. It's also a mind game you can play with your opponent. If they know he's in your hand or he's coming soon, they'll focus more of their attacks on your rear guards than they will on Dictator. Next up, we have the only good rear guard grade 3 in the game for this stupid deck. This card is awful. It's pathetic. I hate it. It's Counterblast 2 to get plus 4,000. Whoop-de-doo. Next up, we have the grade 2 lineup. We're starting out with 2 Moonlight Witch Vaha, 3 Darkness Maiden Maka, 2 Blaster-Dark, and 4 Cursed Lancer. Flip these around so it's easier for everyone to see them towards you guys. Yeah, now I do it. Vaha is here for pressure. She's the Libra clone. When she hits anything, Counterblast 2, draw 1. Standard thing you always use. I like her. Her artwork. Look at that artwork. That's some nice artwork. Check out that witch. Yeah. And also, I like her because she kept the thing all witches have with their name, like Vaha, Coco, Lala. They each keep the little double part of their name. And that, not much else to say about her. Maka is honestly the MVP of this deck. She's what lets shadows do what they need to do. When you play her on the field, Counterblast 2, and you search your deck for a grade 1 and put it behind her. So she's instantly your 16k column when you grab the 8k behind her. She's what gets you your pluses. She's what helps add the advantage to get your columns you need. Next up, we have only 2 Blaster Dark. The reason why is we're not running a Phantom Blaster deck. Even then, you only run 2. His effect's kind of crappy. I don't even know what it does half the time. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. It's alright. And then he also gets like plus 1k if you have a Javelin in the soul. I mean, this only run 2 is only for the Javelin ride chain. That's about it for Dark. I love him, but he's not a Blaster Blade clone.
Guaranteed grade 2.
Yeah, guaranteed grade 2 is the only reason we have him. Next up is Cursed Lancer. The reason we have him 4 and no one else at 4 is when he hits the Vanguard, you unflip a damage. And with a deck that counterblasts as much as this one, with Makas, Vahas, Blaster Darks, Guishun for his stupid 4k boost, you need damage on flippers currently. I'm actually going to be talking a little bit more about Cursed Lancer and why the Japanese meta doesn't run him anymore, and why you won't be running him when Set 9 comes out. So I'll put one over there for later. Get out of my way. Next up, we have the grade 1 lineup. 4 Javelin, of course. He's your 6k, so he's not awful behind other rear guards. If you need him behind something, you can put him behind Dictator for the 20k. He's not a waste of space. Yes. No. Okay. And then when you ride him on your starter, you get to search your deck for a Blaster Dark, which helps you with the plus engine. Next up, we have Guru Bao, because you really don't have much more you can run in this deck. There's the 7K Lake Maiden clone where you rest it, pitch a card, draw a card. But this is good for early game pressure because it's a 9K when it attacks, and it's a 7K, which is always a good booster. And then we have Black Sage Sharon. Run 4 of those, of course. It's your generic 8K. You get these out with Maka, so you have your 16K column that attacks. Then you got the Perfect Guards. Everybody knows why we run Perfect Guards by now. If you don't, read up on Vanguard. Next up, our trigger lineup. 8 crits, 4 draw, okay, 4 heal. Honestly, this is really all you can run. If people want to, with Guisan, you could run stands because he does keep his boost. Yeah, you can run rainbow triggers and restand him with the +4 he already has for his effect. I mean, you only have stand triggers besides this. You're not getting anything else before the archetype comes out. So deal with it. This is all you guys got. Now let's talk about some changes I would make to the deck. At the moment, for the starter, in Japan they have a promo called Dark Goat, which is your Counterblast 1, search the top 5 for a grade 3 added to hand. I would start going with the Goat, and instead of Javelin, run the 7K discard 1, draw 1 card. That's the main changes with that. Now with Guisan, for a more person who has like $100 to drop on it, I would recommend either getting Phantom Blaster Dragon or Overlord. Phantom Blaster Dragon's only 10K, but the reason why I like Dragon is his effect is when he's placed on the rear guard, you can pitch a dragon and search your deck for you pitch a grade 3 and search your deck for the dragon. So you could pitch a Phantom Blaster Dragon and get another one from your deck, thinning out your grade 3 drive checks, which is essential in being competitive and not drive checking useless crap. I would recommend Overlord also, even though you can't use this effect for the Persona Blast if you do have to ride him. He's 11K on the rear guard, and when you attack, you do a Persona Blast, get some pluses. That's what I would do if you have money. Dictator as your main guy, and Phantom Blaster Dragon or Overlord as your rear guard support. Now let's talk about Cursed Lancer. Currently, even with an 8K behind him, he is only 17,000. In a format that's going to be dominated by 12 and 13Ks when set 9 comes out, you only need 5K to block him, which means you're not going to be unflipping damage. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking Cursed Lancers out for the 10K. That way you'll have an 18K column swinging when they kill off your Makas after getting that support. Lancer will be useless late game, and early game you won't really have the counterblast used. So that's why in a couple of months Cursed Lancer is going to be useless, and that's why no one runs him in Japan. A few of my friends were talking about no one knew why, and that's why. 18K over 17, 5K shield. Now we're going to talk about some choices I've made. A lot of people like her. I mean, look at her artwork. Look at the artwork. Skull Witch Nemain is one of my probably favorite Shadow Paladin cards. Unfortunately, she had to make the cut. 3K. 3K. Grade 2, 3K. Sure, behind Dictator, she seems worth it. But when you think of fact, you have to pitch a card and counterblast to draw 2. You're breaking even, but also pitching a known card from your hand. Sure, it could be a grade 3 that you're not going to need, but you still have to waste a counterblast, which is already heavy enough with Maka using them on the field. And especially with Cursed Lancer being gone next format, she falls short. I mean, if she was like maybe 6K, I see it, but 3K gets you nowhere, guys. I mean, I know you love her, I know she has an okay effect, but the 3K just kills her. Now, we're going to be discussing 2 separate builds here. I know a lot of people like Illidan, or Ildana, whatever his name is. I don't care. He's Origin Mage. He came out in the extra booster. He was pretty much the first Shadow Paladin card we had before we even had Shadow Paladins. Then there's Dictator. There's been talks between 2 which one you would pick. He's a limit break. When you counterblast 2, choose 2 of your Shadow Paladin rear guards and retire them, and then draw 2. It's not bad. It retires units to add cards to your hand for shield if you know you're not going to win that turn. And also he gets plus 3,000 when he attacks anyway. So unboosted, he hits that number you need on MLB and cross rides. So that's why I say he wins a little bit, is because that plus 3 only. But then again, he gets pluses for just having rear guards. So it null and voids this completely. Next up, people are like, well, I like the draw too. Well, here's the thing. You're getting rid, most of the time, of a column that's going to be a grade 2 and a grade 1. Or, you know, since it says rear guards, you could get rid of 2 back row boosters. At the same time, you're not running stands. So, get the point I'm going with here. You attack, anyway. So you'd have to attack with your rear guards first to get the use of sacrificing these 2. So most of the time, you're probably going to be attacking with 1 row and then sacrificing it. Which means you'll be sacrificing a 5k interceptor and a boot white. You're going to be sacrificing already 5k shield and a booster for 2 unknown cards. These could be grade 3s, these could be triggers that you would need for when he attacks. It's not worth the cost you have to put into it. Just the unknown factor alone and the fact that you're drawing 2 random for what you already know you have on the field as a strong column, and you're not doing enough random calling to the field like Gold Paladins to need that sacrifice cost, Ildana just isn't the smarter choice when you want to play a more probable game and knowing on what you have and what you're going to do. You're playing more chance and luck factor, and if that's something you like, and plus he looks really cool. He's actually a holo unlike our promos here, so Dictator by me wins this out, and that's why I feel Dictator is the superior card over Ildana. Alright, well, that's been it for my long, drawn-out Shadow Paladin deck discussion on all this stuff here. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave feedback. I do like to discuss other people's opinions and everything on these decks. And, you know, just leave feedback. And if we're doing this right, let us know. If not, fuck you. Anyway, see you guys later.
Oh, wow.